Hello, I wanted to walk you through the college tuition assignment. So you're first obviously going to pick a school. You should pick one in the US because I know that the tuition will be online. If you want to use a school from a different country, just make sure that you can find accurate tuition numbers on the internet. So you'll find the cost of tuition for 2015 and 2016. And honestly, you'll have to do it for these other years as well. So if you're just looking, you can also find it for 2017, 2018, and 2019. And so the first thing you're doing is you're just finding what the actual tuition was. And then you're going to use these costs to come up with a function, f of t, where f of t is the cost of tuition in dollars, and t is the amount of years since 2015. And you're going to be recording all of this in this second page here. Maybe is it the third? No, yep, second page. So you will put the name of your college, you will put the function, and you're going to show how you do this, either type it in or a photo of your work. And I'm going to show you what you should use to create that function in a second. And you're going to answer what rate is your tuition increasing by every year according to this model. So you'll put the actual tuition in here. So this is what you should find off the internet. And your expected tuition is going to be based off of the function that you create. So you might be wondering, how will I use, if I knew the tuition in 2015 and the tuition in 2016, how would I then use that information to write a function? So what I want you to actually think about is that we have learned how to do this. This would be this type of question. So with this one, it says a car was initially purchased for 15,000. It was sold 7 years later. What is the rate of loss of the value of the car? And so remember, it's final equals initial times the rate to the t. And we plugged this information. If we were talking about the tuition example, it would be initial tuition in 2015 times whatever b to the t is equals z. So you would have the initial tuition of 2015, and then you can plug in the tuition of 2016. And then lastly, how many years has it been from 2015 to 2016? It's been 1 year. And then you can solve that equation for b. Can solve that equation for b, so you would have the initial cost of tuition times whatever you just found for b to the t. And that is the equation that you would use um, in order to find the model. And so then, like, this t is going to be until or from 2015. So if you wanted to estimate, use your model to estimate what the tuition would be in 2016, you would make t be equal to 1. If you wanted 2017, t would be equal to 2, 2018, 3, etc., etc. Okay? So that is this part here, how you would find the actual tuition internet, and how you would find the expected tuition is going to be what, using the function you would have just created. The next thing is you're going to graph the actual and expected tuition, and you're going to copy and paste a photo or do just an electronic snip. You could do this by hand, but if you do it by hand, you have to make sure that you are making an accurate scale. I think it's probably easier to, use the internet. So there's two options for making a graph. You could use Desmos or Google Sheets. If you use Desmos, a lot of it is just typing in things that we already know how to do. So you should know how to type in a function, and you can type in a coordinate point right here. So here's my example. And so this is for Desmos. If you want to do Google Sheets, I put a link on here. just copy and paste that link and it will show you how you can do Google Sheets. If you do Google Sheets, it will end up looking something like this. Although it would be actually more appropriate to make these like a scatter plot, like dots and not a line. Um, so the only thing about a using Desmos is you need to make sure you have an appropriate window. So the whole point is to use the graph to make a prediction of the function. And so this is not appropriate. I can't even see where the function is. No, this does not help me. And I want the predicted and the actual on the same page. So I did give you an example of a good window. Here's a good window. I can look at this and say, you know, so if this is starting in 2015, in 2025, I can predict that the tuition is going to be up here somewhere. Okay, good window. And then this is a Google Sheets one, and I don't love it in the sense that it doesn't continue on here, but I will accept it. So a Desmos where the window looks like this, it's appropriate, or Google Sheets, but you will lose points if you give any sort of graph that looks like this. This does not help anyone or anything. And I give you information on how exactly to change the window here. Let's see, what else? Okay, the next part is asking you about, so what would, okay, so let me look up here. So you created the graphs. Use your function to estimate the cost of school for the 4 years you will be attending. So you will be attending starting in 20, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever you will be attending, because we have some ninth graders and some 10th graders in the class and some 11th graders. So whatever years, you'll use your function to figure out how much it will cost each year. And you're also going to find then the average amount of financial aid the school offers, and you're going to assume that's the amount of aid you will receive, and you'll estimate the total cost of your school for 4 years. And then you're going to use this link, which is a student loan calculator, to calculate how much your monthly payment would be for the total cost of your education for 10 years and for 20 years. And we're just going to assume that this is your interest rate, 3.75. It's kind of an average interest rate. Um, so you'll calculate how much you'll pay in each month and how much you'll pay in interest total. But the calculator, this link will just do that for you. And then you will reflect on everything, answering these questions in one paragraph. The question doesn't need to be in order. I do not want to just see A, B, C, D, E, like where you just answer each question. You are putting them in a paragraph. Okay. Um, so when you're doing this assignment, like you're filling everything in, starting here, from here where your name, the college is your function, and then you're just filling in these tables, inserting pictures of your graphs, and writing this reflection paragraph here. If you have any questions on any of this, of course, you should come to Zoom office hours if you feel like that's not a time that works for you, or there's too many in that call and you need more help, then you can always send me an email. Okay.